Can we start?
Yeah, I think we can start. Hello and good evening, everyone. This is Aparna Khatiwala, representing PMI Mumbai chapter. I am a member of a WEC PMI South Asia chapter team and represents Mumbai chapter as VP certifications and training portfolio. I am your host today for this webinar, which is organized by Women Empowerment, Empower Women in Project Management Committee, which is an initiative of PMI South Asia chapters, and it is co-hosted by PMI Mumbai chapter. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Akhila Gauri Shankar. She is chairperson. Can we have slide? Next slide, please. Yeah, she is chairperson of PMI South Asia R11 Women Engagement Committee, and she represents PMI Kerala chapter as VP Operations. Join me to welcome Ms. Akhila. I'll hand it over to her for her welcome address note. Over to you, Akhila.
Thank you, Aparna. A warm welcome to all our participants for today's webinar. It's a pleasure to see that many of you have joined despite being very early, I believe. Thank you so much for joining us on this working day. We are very proud to have this webinar from the Women Engagement Committee. This actually, the initiative is to promote a culture of inclusive leadership in PMI chapter boards in this South Asia region, and also encourage the women members to participate as global volunteers also. The aim is to encourage and improve the women project professionals in the chapter engagements, and also through this volunteering, you will also be able to grow up in the chapter leadership. So that's the main objective of this Women Engagement Committee. And thanks to all chapters, we are having great initiatives as part of this. So this webinar is one of those methods of encouraging our women members to come together and share our knowledge. Thank you so much, Mumbai chapter, for coming up with this great topic of stress management, and looking forward to our webinar. Thank you.
Swati, you need to unmute.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you, Akhila madam. And we are thanks for your welcome introduction for our relevant committee. And we are now beginning with our session. Our speaker for today is Saili Pradhan Patankar. She is a passionate project management professional. She has been a speaker at various forums. By qualification, she is an electronics engineer, MBA in IT, and PMP certified with 19 plus years of work experience in various industries. She is also a coach, and she helps people in their holistic development, also to build stronger, healthier, and happier relationships. She is also a volunteer for PMI Mumbai chapter since 2012. She enjoys writing short quotes, poetries, and articles in her spare time. Welcome, Saili. And before Saili starts her session, Saili madam starts her session, request to all attendees that during session your video and audio will remain disabled, will remain muted. Question and answer session will be taken at the end of the session webinar. Feel free to write your questions in the chat window during the webinar. We will take selective few questions based on the time in hand. PDU code will be shared at the end of the event and also will be sent through email. Thank you. Now over to you, Saili.
Thank you so much, Swati, for this beautiful introduction, and thank you to the entire team. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome all to one of the, I think, a topic that we connect with the most, stress management, with our day-to-day life, what has taken place now. So, I'll begin with the presentation. I'll share my slides. Just let me know once you're able to see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I hope you all are, in high spirits and in good health. And thank you for joining in. Most of you might have joined from office, or you're traveling, or you're at home, or anywhere. So that's the beauty of having virtual webinars or conferences, where you can be anywhere. But the disadvantage is the presenter doesn't know whether the audience is actively listening or passively into the session. So before we just start into this session, I'm sure a lot of things are going on your mind with respect to the presentation. There are other things going around, maybe your personal or professional lives. I just want you all to take a moment and sit up straight wherever you are. If possible, just try to relax, take some deep breaths, because usually we breathe in very short breaths, every day, because we are in so much hurry that this basic activity of breathing also we do not focus on. So let's just try to relax. Let's be in the moment. Let us take some few deep breaths, so it helps you to calm down and focus, right? So just declutter your mind with whatever is going on right now. Let us just come back and be involved, all of us. Let us learn and be here together. Feeling better with those deep breaths? It helps to actually feel much calmer and better. So what are we going to cover today in the stress management? Stress management is a very vast topic, and it differs from each individual, right? Because every individual has different kinds of stress, different ways of handling them, and the reactions, the responses, the expressions, everything is different. So here, what are we going to cover in today's webinar? So we'll cover what is stress, what are we all stressed about, how do we handle them, what are the ill effects of stress, whether stress is good or bad. And then we'll also see few things which can help us manage the stress in our day-to-day lives. And definitely we'll take up some question answers at the end of the session. So what is stress? These are few definitions about stress. So stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension, right? Whenever we are tensed about a situation, we have certain questions in mind. That's when stress starts coming in. It can come from an event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. Now, why do we feel frustrated? Why do we feel angry, or why are we nervous? In our day-to-day lives, just let's take this simplest example, which we all face in our day-to-day lives, is commuting from our home to our workplace and back. So a simple situation like the time taken to travel, the the commutation time, along with the road conditions. Sometimes there is some work happening. Sometimes the roads are shut down, so we reach late. It might happen frequently during monsoons. So it can be anything. So we feel frustrated and we are angry about that situation. The horn honking that comes along with this particular menace of traffic management. So all this situation builds up a lot of stress within us. It causes a lot of discomfort and a situation wherein we feel agitated. But in certain situations, we just cannot, react or change anything in that situation. Nervousness arises, like say in a situation where there is a lot of uncertainty. It can be when you're changing a new job or moving to a new location for personal or professional reasons. It can be something like, take this presentation. So suppose I have to give this presentation. So definitely there's going to be some nervousness, not knowing the audience, how the reactions are going to be. So a lot of things that can, form up the stress. So stress can, it varies again, the level of stress that one takes. It varies because we are all not habituated to different things across the environment around us. So stress, it is a feeling of emotional and physical tension, as well as it makes us feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. And it is nothing but our body's reaction to the challenge or the demand that happens around. So what I feel is stress, nothing but anything that instigates overthinking within us, worry, negativity, uneasiness, and discomfort. So anything, it can be a person, it can be a situation, it can be an event, it can be a place that can cause this discomfort. So all this amounts and makes up stress. Now, each one of us, as I said, has some stress or the other, right? So what I want you all to participate is kindly log on to menti.com. It's on the screen, www.menti.com, and please use the code 1291487. And there is a question there where you have the option of selecting certain factors that you are stressed about right now. So I would like to give you maybe 30-40 seconds. It will not take more. Just choose your answer. It can be one, or you can have multiple answers to this question. So kindly log on, and we'll also see the responses that are coming in from the participants. Okay, are you all done? Shika, do we have any response coming on the chat? If some people can just mention the participants, if you have logged on successfully on menti.com, use the code 1291487.
Your code is
129.
1487, right?
Yeah, it is on the screen. Yes. Thank you. So let's see what are the responses coming in. Interesting. Job and career, health issues, absolutely. Future insecurity. Yes, it does cause a lot of stress, especially with what we have seen in the past 2-3 years. The situation has been dynamic. The world economy, the world, the overall perspective across industries. Lot many things have changed in personal and professional lives. Failed and sad relationships, it definitely makes up to a lot of stress in our lives, knowingly or unknowingly. And very few people actually come out and speak about it. Money, absolutely. Family issues, again, yes, and others. So brilliant. Thank you so much for this response. I really appreciate you all participating here. So yes, these are the factors that we all are stressed about, and more or less it is universal. Certain factors are universal, and we will definitely see on how do we manage these kind of stress related issues. So I'll move back to the presentation. Okay. So causes of stress, as we just saw with the responses, there are things that causes constant worry in us. There is something that is constantly bothering us. We are constantly thinking what's going to happen next, whether this job is better, whether I have to change my job. If I have changed, then whether this job is better, whether this whatever I'm providing for my family, if this is sufficient, whether I'll be able to manage the children expenses. It can be n number of things that are going on in our minds. So these are the few factors. If you see, whatever the responses have come in, more or less the similar factors I have also listed down. These are the causes of stress. We saw health. Many people are worried about health, and it is not just our health. It is also the health of our near and dear ones, right? Because they are our family, they are our loved ones, and we definitely care for them. This peer pressure, somebody's career is progressing at a high speed, and we are not moving. It definitely causes a lot of stress with us. What is it that I am not doing? What is it that is going well with that person? We don't know. We are uncertain. We are not sure what is exactly working. Career, I think the major responses were for career, and it definitely forms the major chunk where the stress comes in. Aging and hormonal issues, again a part of health, our own health. There is a lot of agitation, or different people have different symptoms with respect to hormonal changes as we age. Some people are not even able to take up even a light amount of stress. It happens. These are all hormonal and physiological changes that happens. Uncertainties of life, I just mentioned COVID was a great example, where as humans we face the major uncertainty. The first ideally the first 3-4 months were ideally very, very, very difficult across the globe. Comparisons again with each other. Also this arises in children, where children start comparing their friends, their families. Their family has this, we do not have this. It can be any monetary or any even the school comparisons. Somebody is studying in this school, and it can be anything. Loneliness also I feel is a major contributor to stress. Man is a social animal. We have always learned or studied this in school. But in our day-to-day life, when we are running way beyond all our duties, we hardly find time to share our loneliness. We feel we have our friends, colleagues, relatives around us. But during COVID, we were all homebound. Some people were away from home, some are single, so it was definitely challenging for them to manage so many things alone by themselves. So that also is a cause of stress. Negative thoughts cannot stop them, right? They just subconsciously enter our minds and are just creeping in each and every thought that we have. What if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? Anything. And it is mainly because of certain past experiences that we have had. Maybe certain things didn't go well, 1 2 3, and then when we do the fourth thing, we also think this isn't going to work. It can be in terms of relationship, a job, anything, right? So negative thoughts can creep in. Societal pressure, I need not say more, because we are all, I'm sure we have experienced in some way or the other. Okay, you're single, why are you not married? When are you getting married? If you get married, then when are you having children? All such questions start popping up. If you take a break from your career, yeah, it's on your own. Still, the people, there'll be people questioning, oh, are you not working? So these are certain standards that the society has grown up, and society is nobody but you and me, right? So we are used to a certain framework that get married at this age, have children at this age. I'm sure things are changing now, but yes, these societal pressure and norms still creep in and cause a lot of stress to individuals. Wealth, uh, I have mentioned it, and also we saw from the responses. And isn't it interesting that wealth actually, many few people said wealth, because very lesser percentage. Actually, what matters is, in spite of the wealth, even if you have plenty of wealth, there can be n number of reasons which can cause stress. So wealth usually is, I think, will never be sufficient, so as to say we always would want more, but because our desires and wants just don't cease, we just want more and more. And but when we saw the responses, we could see that wealth didn't form a major contributor to stress, because we all know that with little wealth also, or less money, we can still, if we are able to take our care of our basic expenditures, I think life is still beautiful, right? We can still take care of it. So great. And the most important thing that I have highlighted in the center is relationships, which I was also touching upon at the beginning. And we'll see that in detail, how relationships actually affect our overall well-being. So the first state is, your relationship state, whether you're in a good or a bad relation. Now this I am not confining to just the partner or the spouse relationship. It can be any relationship in your family, friends, relatives, colleagues, your relationship with the boss, everything. So if you are not in a happy state of any relationship, it shows in your behavior. It reflects the way you do certain things at work. Maybe if you don't have a good relationship with the boss or colleagues, certain colleagues do not consider you as a part of the team. It can be for various reasons. So your response at workplace is different, right? You will not be that jovial person. You feel left out. I would feel left out, if I am growing up in that organization. So that state of relationship affects our well-being. How we start to disconnect from many people or things. We try to be alone. We try to get into a cocoon. So sometimes you might have seen certain people, spouse relationships is not working great, or a partner relationship, they just started. At the beginning everything is good, but gradually there are chances that things might not work that way. So you see, some people just get into a shell. They get into a loneliness. They don't speak up because we are not that accepting. We, as in, I mean this society, when people speak openly about their relationships, be it this, or some children might have certain issues within the family. Certain family has certain issues, and that reflects in the upbringing of the children. So this affects the physical and the mental well-being of an individual. And then your presence in the social well-being. Once you are alone, you're not interacting much socially. You're not socializing. You're not meeting out your relatives. Maybe you're not going out with your office colleagues because you're already feeling left out. Suppose somebody is going through a separation, with their partner. It is possible that they are not meeting up with their friends or relatives, just because they don't want, that social stigma and the questions coming up from the society. Again, the society is nobody but you and me. We are asking these questions. So all this affects and causes a lot of stress to individuals. Now, when I say I am stressed, or you tell somebody that, oh God, I'm stressed today, what is the first reaction? Where does stress reside? Is there a particular place where stress resides? It is of surprise that yes, stress resides within certain parts, of the body. So the first place where stress resides is your head. So when we say, I'm stressed, so you hold on to your head. You see certain women holding on to their head, or men, telling, oh, there is a lot of stress. So this is the first place where your stress accumulates. It causes a lot of headache, fatigue, tiredness, lot many things. Because all the overthinking is happening here, in our brain, in our head. Second place is your neck and shoulders. So, you see many people who are working late, sitting on that uncomfortable chair at office or at work. The neck and the shoulders are the second place, where your stress starts to creep in. A lot of stress is on your neck and shoulders. And that's where your spondylitis, your shoulder issues, your posture issues start creeping in. Heart and chest. Mainly matters of relationships, family, well-being of certain individuals, where your heart is involved, right? Your emotions are involved. So your heart and chest, that's where you feel congested. You want to speak up, but you cannot. You want to say something, but you cannot, or you hold yourself. So the heart and the chest is the third place where the stress accumulates and it causes different kinds of illness. We all will see that in the next slide. So heart and chest is another place. Your stomach, whenever you're preparing for an examination or say a presentation at work, or you have to say something to an audience, maybe you want to present something, or you want to deliver a session, you want to speak with your children, you want to speak with your spouse about something, it can be anything. So your stomach, the butterflies in our stomach, that's what we say. So your stomach is another place where the stress accumulates, in the body. And the last and the most important body part where the stress accumulates is your lower back, especially work related, or certain things that you're just keeping to yourself, not letting it out, not sharing, just accumulating it over the time is, it accumulates at the lower back. So these are the places in your body where the stress actually accumulates. Our cells store this information and keep them, accumulated at these places, which causes certain illness, certain reversible damage to our body. So this is what I was mentioning, your brain, your cardiovascular diseases, your skin. Do you know that the first appearance, of any stress also happens on your skin? There are many people who have experienced it. I have known a person who, went through a very challenging emotional situation, and because he was a man, probably he wasn't even speaking it out to his family members what he was going through, and gradually within 2-3 months his skin started discoloring and he actually became completely white, white as in completely, the pigmentation was lost. A lot of medication was done. He saw in few doctors, skin, but then nothing was coming out. What exactly is this cause? After a lot of research and talking to that person, a lot of medication went in. After about a year, when he expressed what he was feeling and going through, that's when it was realized that he had some skin ailment and there was nothing wrong within his body. Everything was absolutely normal inside his body. So skin is also reflects your stress handling. It can also go dark in some certain people. You can have certain spots on skin. So gut, indigestion, diarrhea, certain constipation issues because of stress. Reproductive system, one of the most I think widely spread nowadays is a lot of infertility issues. Couples as young as 24-25 are also not able to conceive naturally, and it is all the impact of the stress that we have gone through right from our childhood till now, and going ahead in life. So joints and muscles also pain. Yeah, we have seen that in many individuals. Your immune system becomes weak. You are fatigued and tired all the time. You don't feel like doing anything else. uh, Individuals feel like, I don't want to do anything more, I'm done with this, that's all. There are as young as as 30s or 40s, people are just have lost that immunity. Why? Because so much is pushed up in that years that they don't have time for anything else to recreate, to come out of that stressful situation. Our jobs are hectic, our professional personal lives are demanding. We want to do many more things. We do not want to confine ourselves to one thing. We want to do multiple things in that same 24 hours, and then we are compromising on our sleep, on our eating habits, many more things. We want to be updated with the latest series on online platforms. You're dragging it up to 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then next day you're going back to work. So many people feel, I'm feeling fresh, but then your body or your cells have not got that time to recover. So all this causes a lot of negative effect on your body. So it has physical, mental, and emotional. It affects the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of an individual. So know your body's signals whenever you experience any kind of unnatural, not something that is not regular with your body, uh, irregular bowel movements, you feel your immune has gone down, just get yourself checked. Always seek professional help whenever it comes to your health, because health is wealth, we all know. And we have seen many, a recent example, Mr. Junjunwala, he also mentioned, the last thing that he focused was his health. So I think we should definitely focus on our health and our overall well-being. Now, when I say, okay, this quote in front of us, I have taken certain pictures which depict, what I want to express in this session. It's not the stress that kills us. It is our reaction. Have you seen every individual might be going through that traffic every day, but there are very few who will be very calm. There are very few who would be reacting every day. The road is bad, the traffic is too much, the horns are honking, so and so and so. That is just one situation. But let's also take an example of an individual. Let's take an example of a 10 or 12-year-old kid, who is born to parents, and the one, the father is a government employee. So they are used to shifting their jobs maybe 2 or 3 years, across the country, maybe, let's say, for example. So this particular boy is growing up in a very changing environment already. Since his young days, he's exposed to that change, he accepts it. Maybe initial 1 or 2 years, it might be difficult, or 1 or 2 changes or the shifts, but gradually he is accustomed to this shift. So the environmental conditions are okay. By the time the boy grows up, he is not restricting himself from wandering outside maybe that country. He's comfortable traveling, he's comfortable making new friends, he's comfortable with the changing environment. As against, let's take an example of a girl who has been born and brought up at the same place, till she graduates, and she is just brought up with, with the family, brought up with the family, the same set of friends, the same route, the environmental surroundings, a very protected environment. Now, when this girl has to go for a job outside, this is just a very simple example that I'm giving. So how she reacts, when there is a job opportunity outside the home place, there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of questions about, her safety, absolutely, her concerns, whether she'll be able to accustom to that new place, yes or no. So that questions will arise. Whereas the kid, which I mentioned in the first case, that person has already gone through a lot of changes in his childhood. So what matters is not the age, but the experiences each one of them have had, right? So that will definitely cause a lot of stress. And the reactions of both the individuals are going to be different for that same situation, right? Also, one example that I'm now going to tell you all. Consider, these are certain stress factors. Maybe let's take our panelist. Okay, so let's say Akila madam has said something to me. So this pen hits me, so that is a stress that she has caused me certain pain. Excuse me, I'm just taking an example, so don't mind. So I hold this pen with me, right? Then there is Swati saying something negative to me, so I hold on to this pen. Then there's Shikha saying something to me. There's Aparna saying something to me. So all these things are coming to me, and I am a person who is holding on to all these negative remarks, that are made about me as an individual. And I'm like, okay, next time, next time I'll give this back. Next time I'll make sure that I'll hit it harder, to Akila ma'am, or to Swati, or to Shikha, or Aparna. But what is the damage that is caused, and who is damaged in this case? I'm holding on to all the negativity thrown at me. Is it right to hold on to all of this? Who is burdened by all of this negativity? It is me. It is me as an individual, right? So what needs to be done? Of course, it is difficult to let go. There are times, when people cannot let go of certain things that have happened in our life, be it an abusive relationship, abusive childhood. I totally agree. But what can be done is move on and build a better today and a better tomorrow for your own. Holding on to these grudges, these negative remarks, is not going to help us in any way. We have seen a lot of people talk about, these situations. So some people say, some people throw stones, and you give them flowers. That is what many people say. But okay, if you're not able to give them flowers, just keep those negative remarks aside and build over it. Grow up, grow more, grow so high that you don't see these comments coming across to you. And even if these comments come, people have a habit of commenting on each and every individual. Even if there is a perfect individual, there are going to be comments. So what can be done is, let's keep these comments aside. Don't hold on, and do not focus or react to such comments or negativity. Do not hold on to them. They are just going to damage you. But the person who has passed on the negative comment has moved on and is passing comment to somebody else. So just move on and grow so much, so high, that nobody else is able to even reach out, and you don't even hear or listen to those comments, right? Now next is, what is stress? Is it good or bad? Do we know anything as good stress? Yes. So there is something like good stress, and there is something like bad stress. Now, what is good? What is good is this presentation that I'm preparing. Okay, I had some amount of good stress because it helped me prepare better. It helped me to understand individuals, the audience. I prepared myself well, tested, redone with the presentation, and so on and so forth. So what happens in good and bad stress is, good stress is over quickly. Suppose you're preparing for a marathon or an examination, a certification. So that stress is temporary. It helps you to do something better, something out of your comfort zone. But a bad stress is something that goes on, long lasting. It is chronic. It demoralizes you. There's a lot of negativity. But a good stress keeps you focused and alert. It energizes you. It helps you to grow better. But a bad stress causes chronic illness, something that has been affecting you over a long time. Can we eradicate stress? Yes, no, maybe. So, well, complete eradication is not possible, because all the factors that we saw cannot be eradicated. They will be there, but what can be changed is our response and our reactions to stress. So let's see how to manage stress in the coming slides. What I have done is, I've just had some compilation points, of certain ways we can deal with certain situations. So the first point is, you have to identify what are your stress causing points, the factors, work out your options. Not everything can be resolved. We have to be aware of which is a stress causing factor, whether you can alter it, whether you can avoid it, whether you can adapt to that situation, or you have to accept and move on. Something like an illness that has struck in the family or to someone very close, it is an acceptance, right? We have to accept and move on to the next level, how that can be treated, how it can be cured. Avoid certain negative people who are passing on comments at your workplace, in your personal lives. You can avoid them, right? Simply avoid them. You just don't have to deal with that stress. You can alter certain situations. If certain things are not working with someone, talk it out. If you can change the situation, amicably settle it. Adapt is, you adapt to that, the regular traffic thing that I said. Just adapt to that situation. Maybe do something that spare in that time. Don't focus on the traffic, but focus on something better. So there are 4 alternatives that you can do with the factors that arise. So work out your options. Always be aware of what is affecting you or causing the stress. List it down. Second is, delegate certain activities, because when I said, we have to multitask at work, at home, there are certain things that you can definitely delegate. Maybe at workplace, you can have certain team members helping you out with certain assignments. your family, your support system. Have help around, seek certain help from helpers. You can outsource certain activities, maybe food or cleaning activities, just outsource it. Women don't have to do everything, even men for that matter. So at work also identify in your team, have that support system around, so in absence of someone, somebody else is able to fill in that gap and take care of the entire situation, so that one person doesn't take leave across 12 months is not correct, right? So have a support system handy. Now, the gap between expectations and reality, that is also one of the reasons of causing stress. Now this can also happen at workplace, it can also happen in our personal lives, right? Oh, you said this and I thought it meant this. It usually happens in the family or at workplace. Expectations are not clear. So what we can do is set the expectations clearly, what I am supposed to do, what is the split of roles and responsibilities at work, at home, so that each one knows what we are expecting from the other person. If we expect more from others, it causes a lot of disappointment, if they don't get fulfilled. And self, you also have expectations from your own self. It also causes a loss of confidence within you, right? So it is better to not over expect either from you or from the other individuals in your life. Always set expectations appropriately. Speak up and share. I was sharing earlier also that whenever there is a stress with respect to your relationship, with respect to your career, with respect to certain ill activities maybe going around you, maybe the environment at workplace is toxic, maybe the boss is troubling, any subordinate is troubling you, speak up. Speak up and raise the red flag immediately. Don't wait for situation to decompose and do more damage to us. So share with your family. If you feel someone from your family can help you out from the situation, you can have some friends whom you can speak up to. Some of your well wishers. We all have certain people who are not a part of our family nor our colleagues, but they are all around us. Maybe somebody from your building, maybe somebody from your previous workplace. They can be anybody. And some confidant or a professional person also. There are a lot of counselors available. So counselors can also help you to share certain things and give a very different perspective to your own thought process. Maybe if you're going through some relationship concerns, it is always better to not go to family members, because everybody will have a viewpoint focused around you or whatever they know of you, but a third person will give you a very different perspective to that relationship. And we also tend to listen to third person better, because they are not judging us. They are only coming out of a situation because they are professionals, counselors, and they give they sort out the matters based upon what inputs we give them, right? So based on each situation, I would suggest you can go to different people to speak up and share your concerns. Spend time with positive and kind people. Now, how do we know somebody is kind or positive? Of course, by learning our lessons, by spending certain time, and then we know whether this person is good enough, is positive, not always nagging, not always complaining. Certain people have the tendency of passing on that negativity to the other person. So just stay away from certain people politely. If they are a part of our family, we can not do much, but we can try to stay away from them. Meet frequently with people who are kind and positive. Restrict the meetings to negative people. You can always seek guidance from such people who have been through a difficult situation. Maybe somebody has overcome a bad situation in their lives, so learn from them, seek how they overcame certain challenges of their lives. You can read about them. Autobiographies of great people is available, so you can learn from them. Also learn good practices from these people, because it will help you to grow individually. Rest and rejuvenate. It is very, very, very important. As I was mentioning at the beginning, some people just compromise on their sleep, thinking, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours is sufficient, and I can manage, I'm young. But the more damage you are doing, to your body, to your health, is if you compromise on your sleep. In spite of you exercising, in spite of you eating good food, the more damage that one can do to their body is by not taking that rest of at least 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep. At least 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep is necessary. What happens during sleep is our nervous system, our complete cells rejuvenate, they rebuild, they re-energize, and each part of the body gets re-energized and ready for the next day, because every part of our body is working something or the other, right from our head to our toe, and our fingers, all this, that daily they help us, so everything is our nervous system, the complete nervous system is helping us to do all these actions, the motory sensors. So you need to rest your body. It will just ease out lot of activities, your perspective will change, your thought process will change, if you take proper sleep. Take breaks at work. It is always possible to have a 5 minute break, when you're having a very hectic schedule. Walk it up around the corridor, just go down and come up, just changing your state from where you are will help you to divert your attention. And of course, regular vacations are a must. Don't compromise on them. Each company has a sufficient amount of leaves assigned that you need to take, so take them. As I mentioned, have a support system at work who can manage in your absence, and go for those breaks with your family, with your near and dear ones, with whomsoever you will enjoy. Hobby, I think people have forgotten, hobbies are only meant for children. Hobbies are only meant, when we are in school. It's not that. Build up, in COVID, I'm sure many people found a different different activity to do in their spare time. So you can sing, dance, learn music or an instrument, do gardening. There are so many options that you can do something new. Just learn, learn it just for fun. You need not be perfect, just learn it to do something better. Also, you can meet different people, when you indulge in these activities. Like if you see, certain people don't run marathon for health, they run, to meet new people, maybe they go for cycling or running or walking, just to meet different people. You meet a very different set of friends. When you go for trekking, you meet different people from different places, different countries. So there's a lot of exchange that can happen, you can learn from such people. So do all of that. Do not restrict, hobby just for children. Indulge in certain activities even when you're adult. It definitely helps you to ease out your stress. Always spending few minutes with yourself, it definitely works. Retrospect, what went on in the entire day, what didn't go well, what will help in the future, to what worked well, so you can apply it maybe later on. So retrospect, spend some time, talk to your own self. It really helps, this me time that we all say, it is really 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 important. And it has a lot of benefits on your overall well-being by spending time. Now that I do not mean that you be a lonely person, but within a day of find out those 10-15 minutes for your own self, maybe after waking up or before going to bed. Just take those 15 minutes, talk to your own self, what happened, what went all, what did I do better, I can do better tomorrow, something like that. Connecting with self is very important. Again, eating right is also important. Nutritious and good food, good quality of food, and not fill up your stomach too much, so that it doesn't digest, again causes some other health issues. So nowadays rainbow meals are recommended. We all have learned from childhood, but nobody's following up. People pick up their tea and coffee and go to both. So breakfast is skipped. Sometimes lunches or dinners are skipped. So follow a healthy eating pattern. And also consult a dietitian if you feel your immune system is not that strong, you need certain vitamins, go for a doctor's consultation and take those vitamins that you need to build your body and your immune system. Next is live a simple life. the basic crux, when we saw even the responses from the audience, wealth mattered only 7%. So a lot of many things, that matter at the end of the day, have a happy and contented life. I'm not saying don't aspire for more. You can definitely reach the moon and the stars, but not compromising your health, your family's health. Just don't get into too much of a thing, because I've seen people, once they get a better job, a nice hike, they move on to buy a 5 bhk, 6 bhk, and then you're stressing yourself with that loan amount, and it kind of becomes difficult with the dynamic and the economical situation that we are all going through. So minimalistic is also good, less is also more. So practice gratitude with what you have. There are people who are willing to live your life. Okay, so practice gratitude, be grateful each day to what you have, what what you have made the most of it. Your family has been supportive, you have a kind husband or a spouse, you have loving children, adorable children. As simple as, even if you're single and you're enjoying that life, just be with it. Be happy with what you have, and instead of being with the wrong person, it is always better to be sick. So look at your situation in all the different positive ways that we can. Help and uplift others, this is something that definitely works. And when you can do that, when you can support other people, only when you yourself are in that condition where you are able to manage your stress, you are able to manage your day-to-day activities. And it need not be just monetary help. You can give your time, you can share your knowledge with others, you can provide certain efforts maybe to senior citizens of your society. You can help do something for them. You can spell out money to certain charities, but don't restrict it only to money. When you do it one to one, kind of, if you teach children, in economically backward schools or something like that, where they need certain volunteers to help children, use your knowledge, share with others. The most happiness will always come by sharing with other individuals, and just follow it for few days, it will come gradually, and you will find out the difference within your own self. And humor is most important, be it any age, any gender. I think spare some time to read about something lighter, watch cartoons if that makes you happy. We need not be always, because we are adults, we need to just watch certain high profile shows or something like that. Absolutely, Mr. Arun Iyer is mentioning laugh at ourselves. So yes, we should be able to crack jokes on us. There's nothing, life is very simple. uh, Read about some humor. You can create humor at your workplace, only within the confined boundaries. Don't cross the boundaries, but make the environment lighter. It is always help to build better relationships at work, at your home front, anywhere that you go. So laugh it out, and loudly, laugh your heart out. Laughter has lot of benefits because it eases all your muscles, right? Now, how do you respond to a stressful situation? So ask yourself these few questions. Is it really worth giving your time? Like as I said, somebody has, hit you with some negative comment. Does that need my attention? No, just simply ignore it. Does it, is it worth your time, efforts? No, then just forget it. Will it matter in the long run? If not, just leave it. Just leave that thing that is not going to matter in the long run. And trust me, long run is nothing but our lifespan, and our lifespan is very, very short. So if it doesn't matter in the long run, just leave it. Move on to something bigger and better in your lives. Don't focus on something so small that you forget the big picture. Always focus on the big picture. And is it worth holding on to? As I mentioned, the grudges, the negativity, it's definitely not worth our time. So just let them speak anything. You grow up to be a better individual. And if something that is not under your control, anyway, worrying is not going to help. So just let it go. Now, when a situation arises, what we can do is change your present state. As I mentioned in the previous slide, just walk up, just take a round. Even changing your physical position also instigates a different emotion. So change your present state. If you're walking at a very slow pace, walk a little, take a brisk walk. That also um, uh, instills different hormones within you. So that also energizes you. Regulated breathing, what we did at the beginning of the session, when you take a deep breath, the oxygen that you pick up is much more than you usually do with our short breaths. So what we need to do is regulate your breathing. Deep breath, take a few deep breaths, practice pranayam. That is something that really works wonders. I have seen the benefits of it. So I would suggest, if you have not following, you can do that. It really energizes you as a whole. Drink water. The best way in a situation, where you feel like reacting, just have a glass of water or a sip of water. Just calm down. It really helps you to, just lower that stress to some extent. And your stress busters, identify the activities or the people with whom you feel energetic. Pick up the phone and call them. If your mom, if your dad, if your sibling, anybody who is your stress buster, just pick up the phone and call. Do a video call. Nowadays the world is united with a lot of technologies. You have to connect, so you can just connect to anyone to energize yourself. One important thing that we should do, and this is coming to the last part of the session, to reduce stress in lives of others. First, before we reduce, or in spite of reducing the stress in our lives, what we should also not forget is not to add on stress to somebody else's lives. And how can we do that? By following these basic things. What we can do is, you can be a stress reliever for somebody. Support and encourage other people, who you feel need help, need support. Be kind towards them. Smile and spread happiness across. It's a very short life that each one of us has come with. We all have an expiry date. So remember, just when you go and meet people, make sure that you are remembered for your good deeds, and be kind to each other. Be kind and have a simple life. And don't pass on that stress to someone by being criticizer, by making sarcastic comments, by judging certain people. When I say the societal pressure, we are all part of the society. So let's avoid asking such embarrassing questions to somebody. Just understand somebody's situation. Nobody is in a situation by choice, right? Given a situation, everybody would want to be on the best part of life, but somebody are deprived of certain things. So let's accept them and move on with them in life. So avoid negative remarks, gossips. Avoid. You can always have healthy discussions about any other topic. Avoid gossiping about any other person, and any unethical behavior towards an individual, towards your own self. Do not indulge in that, because any negative thing that you do accumulates as a stress within us. So to help others relieve their stress, first be stress free your own self, right? And these are few points to ponder where I conclude my session. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. This is a line by Richard Carlson, and I have started practicing after marriage. When my husband told me this, that we do not need to worry about every small thing that's happening in our lives, because finally, when you look back today, certain issues that you worried about as a teenager, as an adult, gradually in an organization working, now when you look back, it was a petty matter. I shouldn't have focused on it. So don't sweat the small stuff. Keep it simple. Take one day at a time. Don't bog yourself with everything that you need to do. Take one day at a time. Keep it simple. Everything is temporary, so this too shall pass. And always tell yourself that you can handle it. Nobody else can do it better, and that's why you are in that situation. So take charge of your life and be happy always. Yeah, I'm ready for any questions that we have.
Thank you, Saili, for this wonderful session on stress management. This is the main topic I think everybody is facing our day-to-day lives, mostly during lockdown and after that. So coming to question and answer, we have one question and I can just read it out. It is knowing self and understanding our stress triggers might be the first step. So it is a first step that when we know self and understand our stress, it is the first steps that does trigger stress triggers in ourselves, when we know ourselves more.
What is the question, Shika? No
Question
answer?
is, knowing self and understanding our stress triggers might be the first step.
So how to identify the triggers is, the frustration and the anger that starts creeping in an individual. That what you're mentioning? How to identify?
Yes, actually, the question is like, if we know, the more we know ourselves and understand, that is what triggers the stress in ourselves. When we know, when we start knowing ourselves much better, that struggles, that triggers the stress. Is the it is correct? They are asking.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because as I said, the first point of the presentation, identify your stress factors. Know how you are reacting to them. Whether you need to react or not react is a by choice. We can always take control. We need not respond to everything. You post something on LinkedIn and somebody gives you some negative comment. You need not get bogged down by it unless you are doing something unethical. You are damaging somebody else's or giving a viewpoint on somebody publicly. I think other than that, if it's your opinion, it's your opinion. We should not get bogged down by such negative comments. So knowing ourselves better, how we respond to such things, and how we react to certain factors. So what I mentioned at the end is take charge of your life. So that's what we need to do, identify our own responses.
Okay. Um, there was one more question. They are asking that, can you suggest some best book regarding stress management?
Oh, okay, there are many books, I would say, but as I said, learn, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. That's a really good book I would suggest, which I just mentioned. If you want, I can share the author's name right here on your screen. Yeah, Richard Carlson. That is, I think,
Okay, so
and
Narayan has
also,
got his
yeah,
answer. Richard
yeah.
Carson can be the better
Yeah,
option.
this is one of the best. And myself, I have also read Randy Posh last lecture. That was also a really life changing for me, because he himself suffered cancer, and his days, after realizing he met with cancer, and his end, he has captured how his life changed, what all started mattering in life. So that is also a good book. So there are many books, but go around, learn from people around you. They are the best teachers. I think each one of us can learn. Ikigai is something that is a concept that we all can read through. There are good books on Ikigai. So definitely something that can change your life.
We have one more question from Viswajit Jaina. He's
Yes.
asking, how do we measure stress, and any checklist that should be prepared?
Okay. Quantitatively, I'm not sure if we can measure stress, but yeah, stress tests are happening in hospitals, where they ask us to do certain activities. So that is your physical. But then emotional stress is not measurable. But as I mentioned at the beginning also, your reactions, if you're getting too hyper, too much of anger, frustration, negativity daily coming out, there is definitely something that is bothering us. Maybe we do not know, knowingly, unknowingly, we are not able to find out. So what you can do is sit down alone and try to find out what are the factors that is causing this negativity. What is it that is instigating this negative? Where were you this person before? What has changed? Is it are you in middle of certain negative people? Like, there are some people who will always keep cribbing, so once you are with that person, you also start cribbing about a situation. So identify what is causing that. So measure, I would say, just know yourself as the yesterday's person and what you're today. So if you're not being a better person, you need to definitely change something around you, within you. And I think that should work as your measure when we go ahead in life. That's what I practice. So I stay away from people who are causing a lot of trouble. Politely just be away. Don't be rude, but you can just be away from such people, because I noticed that I was becoming something like cribber. So I realized immediately I should not be with that person. So emotional and physical
Yeah.
stress is different. Yes.
So he's also asking any checklist that he should prepare to measure the stress, whether he's under stress or not.
Checklist: how many times you are getting angry, on what factors you are getting angry or frustrated. Are you getting nervous on some stupid reasons, like as I mentioned, somebody hit me with this particular negative remark? Am I focusing too much on that? Grow up, let this be there, and grow to such an extent that nobody can make those comments. So checklist, I would say: identify your reactions, negative reactions, and what are they caused by. I think that you can definitely do on a day-to-day basis. Have a journaling system which can help you identify these triggers, and gradually you will not need a journal. You will be able to identify yourself, what is going wrong.
Thank you, Sally. It was a nice session and good answers to the questions. Before handing over to Swati, I just want to invite everyone to our upcoming South Asia conference to be held on 9th and 10th December at Nehru Center, Worli. And for that, this is just a minute. Yeah, this is the 14th conference, and this conference is proudly being hosted for the third time by the PMI Mumbai chapter, which is one of the largest chapters in the South Asia region. So we invite you to join us at in-person conference at the Nehru Center, Worli, Mumbai on 9th and 10th December to learn, network, share, influence, and grow. And please note that 30th November is the last day to register, so please hurry on. Swati, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Swati just before. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, Swati.
Can I get the presenter access, please? Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you all. And many thanks to Saili for such a wonderful session. It was really great. We learned a lot, and inspiring session, how to manage the stress in different situations, and how to stay away from the people once we understand that it is causing certain uh, impacts, bad impacts, or developing some certain negative habits in ourselves. We can stay away politely. Really like that approach. And it's not stress that kills us, but it is our reaction to it. That is what Sally mentioned. It was really nice to learn on, and it was a wonderful session. I hope we all the attendees must have learned something from it, from this session. Last but not least, we thank you all. Is my slide screen visible?
Yes, Swati.
Yeah, okay. So last but not least, we will thank all our attendees and our WEC chairperson, Ms. Akhila Gaurishankar, or all R11 chapter leaders and members, and our our Women Engagement Committee, PMI Mumbai chapter volunteers, myself, Swati Damle, Nilima Prabhu, Sonali Khedekar, and Shikha Singh. We also thank our technical support team, our chapter office staff, Sunil Karangutkar and Tushar Baraskar, and our marketing support team, Mr. Amod Pusalkar, for PMI Mumbai chapter. Thank you everyone for attending this wonderful session, and hope to see you all again soon in our next session. We will be announcing it later, the date and time, once it is finalized. Thank you all.
Swati, can you please change it to next slide for the PDU code?
Yes. And for today's session, we are sharing the PDO code over here in this slide, and it will be also sent to you all through emails. And please do not forget to give us your feedback. The feedback form link is shared in the chat window. please fill up the feedback form so that we will know your feedback, as well as we would like to know what are expectations about next sessions, what topics you would like to get covered. Please feel free to contact us, any of our women engagement committee members of PMI Mumbai chapter, and we would and please do fill the feedback form. Thank you all. And PDO code is displayed on the screen, as well as it will be sent through email.
Thank you, attendees. Akhila ma'am and WEC team, please be online.
Congrats, Mumbai team. And Sayali, very good session. Very good insights.
Thank you so
Great
much.
takeaways. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you for
Sunil,
the
can you
opportunity.
Everyone will agree that it was a very useful session.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Sunil, can you remove the presenter so that we have all the windows and we can take a screenshot?